there is a layer that is called sclera, white layer of the eye, and this place white layer is replaced by a transparent layer here in front, that is called cornea. After that comes the this colored part of the eye, it is called iris diaphragm. This is called iris diaphragm, and in front, in the middle of the iris diaphragm, there is a hole that is called pupil through which light passes. And this iris diaphragm is made up of radial muscles and circular muscle. If the circular muscle contract, then the pupil becomes narrow in size and pupil constricts, and if the radial muscle contracts, then the pupil dilates. Radial muscles are innervated by the sympathetic nerve, and circular muscles are innervated by the parasympathetic nerve. Then comes lens, crystalline lens, and this lens is connected by the two zonules, suspensory ligaments. Here, this portion is called ciliary body, and from here, this is the continuation of the choroid layer. The choroid layer contains the blood vessels, and in the top of the choroid layer there is retina. The retina contains the rods and cone cells, the photoreceptor cells. Retina gets its nutrition and gaseous exchange through the blood vessels present in the choroid plexus. So if there is detachment of retina from the choroid plexus, there the cells dies. Now in the back of the lens, in between the retina and the lens, there is vitreous humor. In between lens and the cornea, there is aqueous humor, and this aqueous humor is formed from the ciliary body, that is the containing the this is the ciliary body. From here the aqueous humor is formed, and here is this portion is called the chamber, anterior chamber and posterior chamber. They are called. From here the aqueous humor is formed, and they come here, and then in between this cornea and this portion, it is the iris diaphragm, and here this junction, there is a channel of phlegm through which the aqueous humor enters into the venous stream. And if this channel of phlegm is blocked, then the intraocular pressure will be very high, and that may cause glaucoma. Here they press, and if that is called open angle glaucoma, and if this ciliary muscle goes forward, that means towards the cornea, then also the drainage of the aqueous humor is blocked, and the intraocular pressure increases, and that also causes glaucoma, that worsens for glaucoma, and that is called the close angle glaucoma. Up to this, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now here in retina there is a depressed part that is called, this portion is yellow in color. This portion is yellow in color, that is called lutea. And here cone cells are too much, and here there is a depression that is called fovea centralis. Fovea. Up to this clear?
Yes, sir.
May I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So, as we told, this is macula lutea. Macula lutea, and here is the fovea. So, another thing I want to tell you that here through this pole, this optic nerve is coming out. So here in this portion there is no rods and no cones. So through this area we cannot see that. That is called the blind spot. Blind spot or optic disc. It is in the nasal side of the fovea. Nasal side of the fovea. Okay, it is called blind spot or optic disc. We have talked about the pupil. Pupil is the central aperture of the iris diaphragm, and the diameter of the pupil may vary from 2 to 8 millimeter. If it is the pupil is wide dilates, it diameter may be up to 8 millimeter. And about crystalline lens, lens is a transparent media like aqueous humor, vitreous humor, the cornea, and the conjunctiva. These are all are the transparent media through which light passes. Diffractive index of the lens is 1.42. And other for cornea, for aqueous humor, etc. Their vitreous humor, their refractive index is about 1.33. 1.33, right? So lens diopter is normally when we are in rest, the diopter of the lens is generally 12 diopter, and diopter means 1 by focal length in meter, and it may be up to 26 diopter when the lens bulges. Up to this, is it clear about this functional anatomy? Is it clear? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
To MBBS, BDS all? Don't hesitate to talk with me. Should we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Archana, should we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Deepika and Archana are the seers, so you represent the whole class. So please tell, should we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now here is the histology of the cornea. It is hematoxylin eosin stain, and you can see there are anterior corneal epithelium stratified squamous area. This is the keratocyte nuclei and corneal stroma. This posterior limiting lamina. Here is the posterior epithelium, and corneal graft means keratoplasty. Why we tell that eye donation after death, only cornea is donated and cornea is grafted. Okay, that is called keratoplasty. And endothelial layer keeps cornea transparent because it pumps the water, and cornea gets its nutrition, gaseous exchange, etc. by aqueous humor here in the inside and from tears. Am I clear? Anterior elastic lamina is there in cornea, and if it is damaged, then there will be scar formation in cornea. As we already told that aqueous humor is produced by the ciliary body, it is absorbed through a network of trabeculae into the channel of Slim. It is a venous channel at the junction of iris and cornea. So here is the lens, here is the lens, here is the cornea, here is the iris, and from here, from the ciliary body, the aqueous humor is formed. It fills the posterior chamber. Then it comes here, and here is the channel of Slim. Through this, the aqueous humor is drained. If there are two types of glaucomas, as I told, obstruction results in intraocular pressure, rise of intraocular pressure. Normal intraocular pressure is very frequently asked. What is the normal intraocular pressure? It is 10 to 20 millimeter of mercury. It is the normal one. And if it is more, then it damages the retinal nerves and causes glaucoma. Glaucoma may be open angle, may be close angle. If trabeculae is less permeable, then it is open angle. And if the iris is, this iris is going closer to the cornea, then it closes the angle so that the watery aqueous humor cannot pass through the channel of Slim. So there is increased intraocular pressure more than 22 millimeter mercury, and that is called close angle glaucoma. So to prevent, to manage it, I think it will be covered in the pharmacology. Already you have read already, I think, beta adrenergic blocking drugs or CA inhibitor to decrease the production of aqueous humor, or cholinergic agonist to increase the aqueous humor flow. That is drug used to manage glaucoma, and other things you will get when will be in your clinical classes. Now, cornea gets nutrition from aqueous humor and tear. I have already told. Free nerve endings of it receives touch pain and temperature sensation as we touch the sclerocorneal junction to elicit the corneal reflex. You have done it, I think, isn't it? Yes or no? Corneal reflex have you done in your practical class? Can you hear me?
Sir.
Yes or no?
No, sir.
You do not know to tell yes or no.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
So why are you wasting time? You tell. So is there any problem in this slide? Any problem in understanding this slide?
No, sir.
Yes or no? Yes
No,
or
sir.
no? Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Tell me clearly, don't waste time. Then comes the layers of the cell layers of the retina. There are actually 5 cell layers, right? This one, main 5 cell layers I am telling about. First layer is the photoreceptor cell, maybe rods, may be cones. These are the cones. One red, one blue, one green colored. These are the cone cells, and yellow colored cells are the rod cells, right? So this is the portion. Here is the nucleus of the cells, and here is the action of the cell. Finished. One cell layer. Second cell layer is the bipolar cell layer. Bipolar. One pole here, another pole here. Nucleus here. Clear? Then third cell layer is the main. This is the dendrite. This is the action of it. This is the action of the ganglion cells, and they combined, they make the optic nerve, right? So how many? These photoreceptor cell layers, rods and cones layers, then bipolar cell layer, then ganglion cell layer. In between the photoreceptor cells, rods and cone cells, and the bipolar cell, there is horizontal cell. Horizontal cell. This is horizontal cell. And in between the bipolar cell and ganglion cells, there is amacrine cell. Amacrine cell, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 types of cells, right? Another cell layer is there, that is the pigmented cell layer. So extra light, if enters into the eye, the extra light is absorbed here, right? So light comes here, crosses the ganglion cell layer, amacrine cell, bipolar cell, and then come here to excite the rods and cone cells. Rods and cone cells, there is some action potential, then there is some bipolar cells are excited, then the ganglion cells are excited, then the ganglion cells carry the impulse, ganglion cells actions carry the impulse through the optic nerve. In that way, the light station goes through the optic nerve as propagating action potential, and it the visual pathway you have already read in your practical class. Am I correct? You have read? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me? Okay. So up to this, this slide is clear to you all? Should I proceed or should I tell it again?
Clear, sir. You can proceed.
You can proceed, okay. Now here is the rod and cone cells. You see the here the nucleus, mitochondria, the stacks are there in rod, and the cones are cone shaped. These are the cytoplasmic layer, plasma membrane, etc. This is the structure of the cell. One rod cell and one cone cell. Diagrammatic figure is given there. Now in fovea, when the light falls in fovea, then from cones, because the fovea contains many cones, cone cells. So one cone cell is one mid-gate bipolar cell, one mid-gate bipolar cell connected synapse with one ganglion cell, and so there is more. Visual acuity means sharpness of vision is more, because 1:1 connection is there. One cone, one bipolar, and one ganglion cell in fovea. In other places, many cone synapse on one flat bipolar cell. So when there is many cone synapse on one flat bipolar cell, the visual acuity is not so high. Many rod synapse on one flat bipolar cell, the visual acuity is lesser, because for the acuity of vision, cones are important, and for the dim light vision and field of vision rods are important. Actually, rods are for dim light vision and field of vision, and cones are used for three purposes: A, B, C. A for acuity of vision, B for bright light vision, that means vision in the bright light, and C for color vision. So A, B, C, the three functions of cones you know. Now cones are very less in number in comparison to rod cells. Cones are 6 millions and rods are 120 millions. Cones are for photopic vision, that means bright light vision, and rods are for scotopic vision, that means dim light. Rods can work in dim lights. They are nourished by the vessels of the choroid plexus, so retinal detachment is damaging to them. I have already told when I told about the first slide. Now, light coming from the 6 meter distance or more is parallel rays. So, increment in the curvature of the lens increases its refractory power. You have already done it in your accommodation reflex when you did accommodation reflex in your practical classes. And a lens with a principal focal distance of 0.25 meter has refractive power of 1 by 0.25 or 24 diopter. So what is diopter? 1 by focal distance is called diopter. 6 meters rest. Up to this, is it clear? Why, when we accommodate, the convergence of eye is there, so that the image is formed in the fovea. Why? Because in the fovea cones are more. Cone to bipolar cell to ganglion 1:1, so more visual acuity. That is why the convergence of eyeball is there, so that in the two eyes the object is focused on fovea. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
To Archana and to Deepika, I am asking both because you are representing
Yes,
the
sir.
class. Okay. Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Don't tell later then we could not follow. Sir told, but we could not follow. If you cannot follow, please tell me. I'll repeat. Should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
okay. Then accommodation diagram, you know, I am not wasting time on it because there are 3 C's: convergence of eyeball, curvature, anterior curvature of the lens increases, and the curvature of the lens is increasing. That will show. Those things you have already done. For examining what is far point, nearest for the eye at which the object can be brought into focus for accommodation is the near point, and it is very, in young age it is very short, in 9 centimeter in 10 years, and in the 60 years of age it recedes and it goes to 83 centimeter because the lens hardens and it cannot bulge, and that is why after 40 we are compelled to use the bifocal lens because of presbyopia, because lens cannot bulge and near point recedes. What is near point then? Nearest point or to to the eye at which the object can be focused. Now far point, minimum distance at which the object can be seen without accommodation. That means 6 meters, and that is why from 6 meter distance the rays which comes into the eye, and that is parallel rays. That is why Snellen's chart is kept at least in the 6 meters of distance. Am I clear now? May I proceed?
Sir, actually near point भन्दिनु न फेरि.
When we were very young, at that time, from the very close, very near distance, we can read. And when we are adult and we are crossing 40s, then when we read the newspaper, we keep the newspaper far away from our young people can be read keeping very close, but because the lens can bulge and can accommodate, so from very near, maybe from 10 centimeter distance we can read, but when we are adult we cannot read from 10 centimeters. From 15 centimeter distance, from 18 centimeter distance we can read easily. So the nearest point to the eye at which the object can be focused, that is called by accommodation, that is called near point. Am I clear? So with the advancement of age, near point goes far and far. So near point recedes. I am telling that one. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
So for Archana and for Deepika, should we proceed? Representatives, should we proceed?
हुन्छ sir.
What? Both of the classes are telling that? Yes, no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Now about some terms: myopia, hypermetropia, astigmatism, anisometropia, cataract, diplopia, etc. We will tell about that. And that is first diplopia. So if we see when we see something, we see one, right, a little bit, then you press one of your eye a little bit on the top, and then you see the letters are two lines you can see. Can you see it? Do it like that. Are you getting my point? You see, you are seeing your screen, isn't it? You press one of your eyes a little bit. Open, keep two eyes open and press one eye a little bit. Are you seeing double lines?
Yes, sir.
That is called diplopia. Cataract means when the lens become opaque. That is called cataract. Then we, by phaco, we remove it and put intraocular lens, and that is a cataract operation. And in case when there is cataract, we cannot see properly. With the advancement of it happens. And when we test the eye with Snellen's chart. First of all, the person cannot see properly. After that, the person can see, but not properly. After that, you reduce the distance between the eye and the sense chart. The person can see. If the person cannot see at least how many fingers are there, he or she can perceive. Or if he or she cannot perceive, at least he or she can perceive the light is there or not. Light, so if you show the light, the person can perceive, yes, light is there. Oh, no light is there. That means everything is all right, maybe cataract. And at that time, cataract means the opacity of the lens, and that can be operated. And isometropia. That means in one eye the power is, say for example, -5, and another eye -3. So not iso, and mane no, iso mane same. Metropia. That means in two eyes, two powers are there. In one, in left eye, say for example, in left eye -5 and right eye -3. If it is like that, it is called anisometropia. Astigmatism, myopia, hypermetropia will come later. Acuity of vision or sharpness of vision, I am not telling, you know it. And for near vision test, we use Jaeger's chart, and whether we can see or not, we can read or not, we have already done it in a practical classes, I think. And field of vision also you have done in your practical classes. You know, again I am repeating once that fixing our gaze to a special point, we can see the besides that point, we can see some of the world, some of the portions of the world, and that is called field of vision. Fixing the gaze to a special point, besides that point we can see something, and that is called field of vision. This field of vision is the function of mainly rod cells. It extends 50 degree above, 60 degree medially, 100 degree laterally, and 75 degree inferiorly. Because above eyebrows are there, medially nose is there, laterally there is no obstruction, so 100 degree, and inferiorly there is zygomatic bone, so obstacles are there to see. So the field of vision is like that, and binocular vision helps in the depth perception. Field of vision is done, I think you have done in your practical classes. And for field of vision, we can measure field of vision by Lister perimeter. Using Lister perimeter chart, it is like this. So in field of vision is like this. Here it is 100 degree, here 75 degree, here 60 degree, here 50 degree, like this. So you have done it, so I am not telling it, isn't it? Am I right? You have done it, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Macular degeneration may be there. The macular, age-related macular degeneration, macula occurs in the fragile blood vessels begin to form under macula. That is wet, vascular endometrium growth factors. And dry AMD occurs when the cones in the macula slowly break down, and it causes loss of central vision. And then let us come to as I told, hypermetropia, emmetropia, myopia, etc. So this is the normal eyeball. Say for example, normal eyeball. This is like this. Okay, and you see there are many refractive media. One mainly is cornea, then aqueous humor, then lens, then vitreous humor, and here the refractive index is 1.33, here 1.33, here 1.33, here 1.42. So there are different refractive medias, and if we think that there is no one refractive media, that is called the reduced eye. That is called the reduced eye of listing. I repeat, that is called reduced eye of listing. Now, if when you will draw this picture, you put arrows here, okay? Otherwise, light rays will not be represented. You put an arrow here, an arrow here. So when the parallel rays are coming and it is the object is focused beyond the pachadi, back of the retina, that is called hypermetropia. Am I right? Am I clear? Hypermetropia means the object is focused in the back of the retina. Why? Because antero-posteriorly the eyeball become raised. Chapter boy. Antero-posteriorly. Okay. Another lamche boyo. It became elongated here. Here you see that the parallel rays are focusing here and retina is away from where it is focused, and that is why it is called myopia. Am I clear now? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the retina, if the parallel rays are focusing on the retina, that is called emmetropia, that is normal eye. If the parallel rays are focused here far away from the retina, that is called myopia. And if the object is focused not on the retina, on the back side of the retina, right, that is called hypermetropia. For myopia, the correction is diverging lens or concave lens. So the parallel rays are diverged and going to the peripheral portion of the lens, and it is properly focused on the eye on the retina. And in case of hypermetropia, the parallel rays are converged and the parallel rays are going through the central part of the lens, and it is going and focusing in the proper place. So hypermetropia, the converging or convex lens is used, and to treat myopia, concave lens is used. Am I clear now?
Sir.
All of you? All of you? Yes, no? What about Archana and his group?
Yes, sir,
What?
it's clear.
Okay. And if the anterior surface of the cornea is uneven, or different curvature of cornea in different meridian is there in the cornea, different curvatures in different meridians of the cornea is present, or the anterior portion is not even, at that time the object is not focused in the same plane. Some of the portion of the object is focused here, some of the portion of the object is focused in front, some of the object is focused here. So in that case there is astigmatism, and in that case astigmatism, the cylindrical lens is the remedy. The remedy is the cylindrical lens. Am I clear now, or should I repeat?
Clear, sir.
Are you Deepika telling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, should I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you see, in the reduced eye, that means when we will feel that there is only one refractive area, surface is there, in that case it is called reduced eye or listing. In that case you see through the nodal point, which nodal point is present actually in the anterior 2/3, in between the anterior 2/3 and posterior 2/3 of the lens, through which the light ray does not deviate, it goes it goes straight. And you see, if there is 5-degree angle on the nodal point, we can see. And for that, if the object is nearer to the eye, the height of the object should be smaller, and if it is far away from the eye, this height will be bigger in size. But in both the cases, the degree is 5-degree angle. That is why, in keeping this in mind, the letters of the Snellen chart, the size of the letter of the Snellen chart is determined, because the letter which we can read from the 6 meter distance, it is smaller in size, and the letter which will read from the 60 meter distance, the height is bigger. The letter is bigger in size. But in both of the cases, from say for example from 60 meter distance from here, the letter is making 5-degree angle, and from 6 meter distance letter is again 5-degree angle, making 5-degree angle. Am I clear to you all? Yes, no?
Sir, actually repeat garden, yeah.
Suppose this is the letter which you should read from 6 meter distance. So letter is small. In Snellen's chart, letter is small. 6 meters distance, but पढ़ने letter सानो छ नि? Yes or no? 60 meter बाट पढ़ने letter ठुलो छ कि सानो छ? 60 मिटर बाट स्नेलेन्स चार्ट को के ठुलो लेटर सानो लेटर सब छ हैन? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the biggest letter जुन चाहिँ छ नि, the biggest letter is big in size, that can be read from the 60 meters distance, from here, say for example from here to here 60 meter distance, okay, from here to here. So that letter is making 5-degree angle. Am I clear? And the letter which is from the 36 meter distance, I think, I say for example 6 meter distance from here to here, that letter is also making 5-degree angle. Am I clear? So one letter is small, another letter is big, but both the letters are making 5-degree angles. Small letter is making 5-degree angle from closer from short distance, and big letter is making 5-degree angle from a greater distance. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to you all? Whenever we see for acuity of vision, the object must make 5-degree angle on the eye. This is 5-degree angle. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
To Archana and group, is it clear? BDS, it is clear. For MBBS, is
Yes,
it
sir.
clear? Okay. Now there are different types of cone pigments. There are 3 types of cone responding maximally to light at wavelengths of 440, 535 and 565 millimeter, nanometer wavelength. Each have retinal and opsin will come. Again, you will read all those things. Response to cone to light is similar to that of rods. The rods and cones are the photoreceptor cells, and for cone there are 3 types of cones. Okay, one is maximally active when the wavelength is 440 nanometer. Another type in 535 nanometer, and that type is 565 nanometers. Okay, that will come later. And strabismus and amblyopia, about that you have already read in your practical class or not? Should I tell it or not? In practical class, have you read all about all those things you have read? Yes, no.
No, sir.
So strabismus means the eyes are not straight. It is misalignment of eye, characterized by one or both eyes turning either inward or outward or upward or downward, or inward upward or inward downward, like that. Okay, जो चाहिँ के भन्छ त्यसलाई नेपालीमा squint भन्छ, squint है. Visual image do not fall in the corresponding points. One image is eventually suppressed. So if there is strabismus, then there will be diplopia. Okay. So as I told you have done diplopia experiment now, just now. I told you keep your eyes open and press your eye, one eye, then you will get 2 letters, sorry, 2 lines, isn't it? A diplopia you have done just now in this class, isn't it? So in strabismus also the same thing happens. Some of the extraocular muscles are weak, that is why there is strabismus, and in that case there is diplopia. So visual images do not fall in corresponding points, and one image is suppressed, and this suppression is done in the cortex, in brain. So brain ignores it, and after that the squint eye became functionally incapable. Am I clear? Yes or no? If no, you
Yes,
tell
sir.
no. If no, you tell no. If yes, you tell yes. If you cannot understand, please tell no.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Now let us come to the color vision. Color vision. Color has main three properties. One is hue, red or blue or green. What is the hue? Another is intensity. Suppose you take brush and put one red color. It is red. Again you put red color on that red color. So intensity is more. Again you put even you dip the brush in the red color and make another red color on it. So intensity is more and more. So that is intensity. Another is saturation. Saturation means degree of freedom from dilution with white. So one drop red, one drop white. It becomes a fade red. Again one white drop, color is mixed with that. One drop of white color mixed with that. It will be pinkish like that. That is called saturation. So color has hue, intensity and saturation. Clear? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I can respond with wavelengths from 400 to 650 or 700 nanometer. So 400 nanometer wavelength is small. 700 wavelength is more. So you see, 400 means what? Bluish or purplish. Bluish, greenish. These are the short wavelength. Long wavelength, red, yellow, orange. These are the long wavelength. Then cone has green cyanolab. It came from kuanos. That is the cyanos or kuanos. It is Latin. Chlorolab. Chloros means green, and erythrolab. Erythros means red. These are all Greek words. So cone pigments may be cyanolab, chlorolab, or erythrolab. The three types of cones may be present in our retina. One wavelength can stimulate more than one types of cone. But this is the Young-Helmholtz theory. I will come later. Now let us come what is primary color, what is complementary color. Primary color is red, green and blue, because in white or whitish color, spectral color, non-spectral colors, all can be made by mixing these three colors. Complementary means mixture of these two colors gives a grey or whitish color. Black and white, complementary. Green and red and green, complementary. Blue and yellow, complementary. And when these two combination, black and white, red and green, blue and yellow, are given side by side, both the colors seems bright. That is why in whiteboard we use black color. Black. In black we write. In if we keep a red rose in our pocket, we put a green leaf, so that red becomes more red. Seems more red. And blue and yellow. In yellow background, in blue color, we write when the festoons are written, etc. Now there are three types of people. One is trichromat, dichromat, monochromat. Three types. In trichromats, 3 cones pigments are present. In dichromat, 2 cone pigments are present. Short and long wavelength is present, but medial wavelength is color is not present. So dichromat. and in monochromat only one cone pigment is present. In trichromats, we are all trichromats, but we may be normal, we may be color weak. We may be normal, we may be color weak. You have done the color chart, here the color chart you have seen. And those who, when weakness is not there, it is called anomaly. And when blindness is there, that is called anopia. An means no, opia means vision. Okay. So anomaly means weakness. Prot anomaly, red weakness. Deuter anomaly, green color weakness. And trit anomaly, blue color weakness. And those who do not have any weakness, they are normal trichromats like us. Am I clear or not? Am I clear? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
All? Yes? No? Should I repeat? I am asking all the students. Should I repeat? Can you hear me? Don't waste time. Should I repeat or should I proceed?
You can proceed, sir.
Now dichromats may be one color they cannot see, so there is color blindness, not color weakness. That is called protanopia. Red and green color blindness is there. They cannot differentiate between red and green. Deuteranopia means cannot detect green confused with red or blue. And tritanopia, that means they cannot see any color. They see all the world in different shades of grey. So protanopia means red-green blindness. Deuteranopia means cannot detect green and red or blue. Sorry, cannot detect green confused with red or blue. Green light, either they tell red or they tell blue, because they cannot perceive green color. Protanopia perceive red color. Am I clear? So they are dichromat. Anopia means blindness. Anomaly means weakness. Up to this clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Now you see here the short wavelength. So short wavelength 400 to 500. Long wavelength, you see here, long wavelength color length. 600, 650 to 500 here, 450, 500, okay. And here, this is cone, this is cone, this is cone, but here dotted line, this is rod. So rod can see the dim light vision can be seen here. The dim light is there, the wavelength of color wavelength is shorter, and when the in here dim light but brightness is more and more, here also rods can see. Am I clear? So pilots put red color goggles. When red color goggles they put, at that time, red color means here, so at that time the cones are active and rods cannot see, because in red color rod cannot perceive. Okay, so rods get